Namaste. Good evening. This is Dr. Aparna. I am an Ayurvedic psychotherapist. I support and act as a catalyst in your emotional healing journey. So, I am an emotional healing synergist. I am a medical writer as well as a passionate infopreneur. In my pursuit to address, promote, and propagate Ayurveda and psychotherapy globally, I speak on various topics with regards to Ayurveda, mental health, psychotherapy, and I do book reviews on this genre. So today's topic of discussion is types of narcissistic personality disorder. From the past three sessions, we are discussing about narcissistic personality disorder, and people had also asked me to give some of the popular suggestions to deal with a narcissist. So we are going to touch on couple of pointers. This is not a one size fits all approach. So it is just general suggestions. So we are going to discuss two types of narcissistic personality disorder today. So the first type is what we are going to discuss is overt, um, grandiose or overt narcissist. So grandiose or overt narcissist is classically this narcissistic traits is of arrogance, entitlement, and focus on power, and they and success and superiority. So they often dominate conversations, belittle others, and demand specialty treatment. So this is a unique characteristic of overt narcissist or grandiose narcissist. So their focus is always on external validation, power, status, and superiority. So, for example, a CEO, that CEO who believes that his or her brilliance, is responsible for the company's success, is solely responsible for the company's success. Despite having a talented team, he or she thinks or believes that only his or her brilliance is responsible for the company's success, and they take credit for positive outcomes, and they blame others for failures. So this is one example. The second example is that socialite, a person who is obsessed with his or her status and wealth. So social status and wealth. So the name drop important people, flaunt, designer possessions, branded possessions. Maybe they always flaunt, those designer and branded or luxury possessions, and believe that they are superior, to those with less, material success. So this is an example. The next example is of that politician who craves just recognition and influence. He might not contribute in any impact creating solution, but he or she may manipulate for gain and lack genuine concern for the constituents. They only crave for recognition and influence. And the next example is the trophy spouse. So, their self worth is tied to the status of their partner. you know they are not respected, that wife who is not respected, and her self-worth, which is tied only to the status of their partner and his material possessions. So the partner or the husband may look down on those, they consider less attractive or wealthy. So this is one example. These are the example of overt, narcissist or grandiose narcissist. Another type of narcissist we are going to discuss today is vulnerable or covert narcissist. So, this person, the characteristics are less obviously boastful. This person is not, as much a very obvious boastful person, but very hypersensitive and defensiveness and feelings of inadequacy. So they are always masked by a facade of grandiosity. So his or her grandiosity is always masked. So they may appear fragile, seeking admiration by portraying themselves as a victim or exceptionally talented. They always portray themselves in spite of being exceptionally talented, they're always victims. So these people are vulnerable narcissist or covert narcissist. So this person's focus is seeking admiration while masking insecurity and a sense of inadequacy. That means, for example, that wounded friend, that means the friend prone to feeling slightly and fixated on how others have supposedly wronged them. He or she always blames that people have always done wrong to him. They may use passive aggressive behavior to elicit attention. Either they may use passive behavior or they may use aggressive behavior to elicit attention. The next example is the envious, academic. That means this person bitterly resents successful colleagues. He or she is always bitter and resents success for his or her successful colleagues and feels entitled to recognition they haven't earned. He or she feels that the recognition is theirs, and it is given that recognition is given to their colleagues. So they may sabotage those they see as rivals. They may seek to take revenge, or sabotage who they see, who they view as rivals. The next example is the neglected artist. That means that artist who believes they possess, undiscovered genius. That person believes that he or she possesses some undiscovered genius talent. So they feel deeply unappreciated. So they blame the world for not recognizing their brilliance and turn down on opportunities they deem. So, and they say this is beneath my talent, so this is below my talent, and they turn down all the opportunities. This is one example. And what person, the next example is a person who always acts as a martyr. So he or she feels that they sacrifice so much for others. This is just a feeling, yet never receive enough gratitude or recognition. So they may use exaggerated displays of suffering to elicit sympathy and praise. They use that, the exaggerately they display their suffering in an exaggerated manner, and they want sympathy and praise from others, and because they feel that they have sacrificed so much for others. So these are the two types of narcissist we have discussed. One is overt narcissist, the second is covert narcissist. So when I have to talk about the general suggestions to deal with, a narcissist, see, dealing with a narcissist, whether in your personal life or in your professional life, can be challenging and emotionally draining. So what you can do is, first you have to know that the person you are dealing with has NPD. That means you have to educate yourself about narcissistic personality disorder. That means if you have a doubt, you have to first understand the characteristics and behaviors of individuals with a narcissistic personality disorder. So this will help you anticipate their actions and manage your expectations. So, for example, knowing that, if you know that a narcissist often craves for attention and admiration, can help you detach from their attempts to manipulate you. If they, if they try and manipulate you, you can, detach yourself from the attempt through flattery. They might try to manipulate you through flattery or guilt tripping, so you can detach yourself. Second is, when you come across a narcissistic person, important thing is to build and maintain healthy self-esteem. So what narcissists do is, they often target individuals with vulnerabilities in their self-esteem. So, building your self worth can make you less susceptible to their manipulative tactics. So, once you build your self worth, you are less susceptible to their manipulative tactics. So, you have to practice self compassion, you have to celebrate your achievements, and surround yourself with supportive people who value you for who you are. So the next thing you have to do is, this is the important thing: set and enforce clear boundaries. So clearly define what acceptable behavior looks like in your interactions with the narcissist. So communicate your boundaries calmly and assertively, and be prepared to enforce them with consequences if they are crossed. For example, a narcissistic colleague consistently takes credit for your work. You can address this by calmly stating, I noticed you presented my work as your own in the meeting. It's important to me that I receive credit for my contributions. Moving forward, I would appreciate if you acknowledge my work when presenting it. So you have to tell it in a calm way, but in an assertive way. Second, next thing is responding instead of reacting. See, narcissists often, what they do is, they thrive on emotional reactions. So instead of getting drawn into arguments or emotional outbursts, take a step back, take a breath, and calmly respond calmly and rationally. So, a narcissistic family member constantly criticizes your choices. So, instead of getting defensive, you can respond by saying, I appreciate your concern, but I have made my decision and I am comfortable with it. So, you have to be calm and assertive, and you have to learn to respond instead of reacting. So, next thing is, don't take their behavior personally. See, remember, a narcissist's behavior is a reflection of their own internal struggles, not a personal attack on you. So, remind yourself that their words and actions don't define your worth. You have to keep constantly reminding yourself that their words and actions do not define your worth. So seek support and validation. So talking to a trusted friend, therapist, or support group can provide emotional support and validation of your experiences. So, sharing your experiences with others who understand your situation can help you feel less alone and empower you to cope with the challenges you face. So the next thing is prioritize your own well-being. So dealing with the narcissist can be emotionally and mentally draining. So make sure you to prioritize your own well-being by engaging in self-care activities that help you manage stress and maintain your emotional health. So this could include exercise, relaxation techniques, spending time with loved ones, or pursuing hobbies you enjoy. What you have to do in extreme situations, consider limiting contact with that person, with the narcissist. So if the narcissist's behavior is causing significant emotional distress or impacting your daily life, so it may be necessary to limit contact or even go no contact entirely with that person. So, this is a difficult decision, but it may be necessary to protect your own mental and emotional well being. So, here, as I said, it is important to remember for all of us that there is no one size fits all solution when you deal with a narcissist. So, the most effective approach will depend on the specific situation and the severity of the narcissist's behavior. So, even if you're struggling to cope with a narcissist in your life, consider seeking professional help from a therapist or a counselor who specializes in dealing with, personality disorders. So, these are some of the popular suggestions, to deal with a narcissist. So, we will discuss some more interesting facts and information on NPD in the next session. Thanks for watching. Namaste.